If you have somehow stumbled across this video, first of all, know that it is okay to be lost. It is okay to admit to being lost. Only then you can focus on finding your path. Finding your art style is a process and it is not guaranteed. And I don't think that you can find your definite style because it will always evolve, just like you evolve as a person. So I think it's more of finding the right direction to go with your art. The first thing that can help you to find your art style is patience. It can take a long time for you to understand what do you want to say with your art and for your art to grow alongside your personality. So don't be mad if you don't know yet what do you want to draw or paint. Give yourself time. Maybe do a little break. Maybe you are overworked. Maybe you are burnt out from painting too much. And the scary thing about inspiration is that it come and goes, and you don't exactly have the power to summon it just like that. You need to accept that sometimes it takes months or even years for your inspiration to come back to you. I, for example, had that time in my life that I didn't create like anything for about half a year, and it was scary. I thought that I lost some personality, but I think that this feeling of being burnt out or when you don't have any inspiration is also important to not ignore and to not push yourself too much. What worked for me in that time was that I didn't do any my original ideas because I didn't have any. I did some drawing exercises. I focused on the craftsmanship and eventually the inspiration came back. In this period when you don't create as much, what you can do is consume the media. In order to generate good creative ideas, you need to see what other media has to offer in terms of movies, games, books, whatever you like. When you feel burnt out and you don't feel like creating something, maybe instead of pushing yourself, you can find some movie, maybe the one that you know really well and have watched 100 times, but maybe you can watch the movie that you don't know anything about, and it can be bad. When you watch a bad movie, you also have some reflections about it. I have that pieces of media that really impacted my paintings. It's very hard to be 100% original. My understanding of originality comes from taking a lot of different medias from different platforms like books, music, and from all of that themes that you like, you can create some combination that can be quite original. This painting that I am painting right now, it was subconsciously inspired by this section of gameplay in God of War 1, Temple of Pandora. You see these all creations that was designed by mad architect. I was thinking about that architecture that is hostile. And it was a theme that later came to me in a dream because I was thinking about it so hard. And yeah, I think that dreams are kind of life hack. And more often than not, I dream about very stupid things that wouldn't make a great painting. But sometimes I dream about other idea. And this is this painting. Wild stuff. I wouldn't get that idea awake, I think. But what works for me is when I wake up after 8 hours of sleep, I take a nap like 10 minutes, and in that 10 minutes of napping, there was so much that I was dreaming about. This is like a side quest. If you don't dream at all or don't remember your dreams, the other tip that I have for you is do not take your phone with you to bed, and also don't listen to anything when you go to sleep. It can be hard, especially if you have some tendencies to overthink, which I think most of people do, but that's when the best ideas can come to you, when you are falling asleep. Okay, so what we do right now is we have consume media, watch films, read books, sleep well, remember your dreams, give yourself a break. You also need to paint at some point. What's really important is to experiment and fail. And it is interesting to see the history of some artists that were experimenting in order to find their art style. That means that sometimes you need to come out of your comfort zone. Like if you paint portraits, maybe try a landscape. You can fail and never come back to it again if you think that this is not for you. This is one of my favorite paintings that I've done. I decided that this is the direction and the themes that I want to follow, but I wouldn't come to these terms if I just decided that I won't be painting perspective and complicated things because I am not good enough. And this is the other thing that is important to realize. Don't think that you're not good enough to paint something, but think of it in terms of I need to expand my skill set. Maybe you don't make this mistake, but I have made this mistake that every painting that I was doing, I wanted to be the next greatest. And this put a lot of pressure on me. I didn't have a lot of space for experimenting and failing. So that was quite recently that I bought just a wooden board with canvas on top. And this is cheap way to exercise with your paints, and it won't put a lot of pressure on you to fail on a cheap board than on bigger canvas. But after all that experimenting and going out of your comfort zone, I think that equally as important it is to stay true to yourself, and that you yourself have to like what you create. Art is subjective. I don't think that you can tell objectively that something is art. For one person it will be, but for the other it won't. So I think what is most important at the end of the day is finding art style that you will like, because there will be an audience for that. You need to like what you create, and I think that also this is a very good indicator of finding your art style. If you don't like it, that ain't your style. And the next point is thinking about your audience. What do you want for them to feel? It can be various things. For example, you don't have to make art that is so deep, that is making them question their existence. You can make cozy art because maybe you think that there is too much bad things going on in the world and you want your audience to feel at ease when they are looking at your art pieces. Or maybe you think that there are problems that need to be addressed, focusing on the overall message that you want to send out to the world. Maybe not all of your pieces should have the same message. Every one of them can be telling something different. But when your art piece creates a story and a message, I think that it creates an emotional response in your audience. This is the one of the, if not the most important point that I want to make on how to find your art style, is that you need to also focus on the message that you want the world to see. This is a not easy task because you yourself can be also lost. Maybe you don't know yet what you want to tell. That's why it is a process. You can paint something and it will subconsciously send some message to the world. And I think that this is good enough if you don't know what consciously to tell. But if you know, that is also great. And from this point, you can apply all the other things that I talked about and just find your visual language. Maybe expand from painting to the carving out of the stone or making something out of Lego blocks. When you know what you want to tell, then how you want to tell it will come eventually at some point. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for listening out to my tips. I hope that they will help you in some way. Now I will give you the bonus one. You can subscribe to my channel. It will give you 100% more creative power. But for real, I think that some of the great artists have something in common, and this is an obsession. So maybe you can try to develop an obsession. Not saying that this is great, but that will make you very distinct. So maybe not obsession as an unhealthy obsession that will give you no peace of mind, but like the theme that we will explore the most. When you explore one theme very much, it can give you more depth to this one theme. That was the last tip that I had for you. It is important to create, experiment, give yourself a break, try to get inspired from other media, and to focus on what's really important for you in your art, and for you to subscribe to me. So it will be all for now. See you!